The Black Forest is vast, and it never runs out of shadows. In our first journey, we uncovered the grave of a noblewoman entombed alive, the haunted waters of the Mummelsee, and the restless souls of the Ilmenau Asylum. But those were only the beginning. Tonight, we return to Germany's dark woods to uncover 3 more tales of fear and fascination. Legends that stretch from the Middle Ages to modern times, each bound to the forest like roots that never die. First, we follow the whispers of the Teufelsmühle, where a pact with the devil himself ended in betrayal and ruin. Then, we descend into the Höllental, a valley so narrow and cursed that travelers still speak of a white lady and phantom drivers luring victims to their doom. And finally, we step into the ancient bogs of the Black Forest, where mysterious bodies preserved for centuries reveal the possibility of rituals, sacrifices, and souls forever trapped in the marsh. These are not just stories. They are fragments of history, stitched with folklore and shadow, waiting for those brave enough to listen. Welcome to Black Forest Mysteries, Volume 2, The Teufelsmühle. High above the town of Höllental, where the Black Forest meets the northern edge of the mountains, lies a lonely hill. At its summit once stood a mill, but today only stones remain. They call this place the Teufelsmühle, the Devil's Mill. And the story of how it got that name is as dark as the forest itself. Long ago, the mill was said to be prosperous. Its wheel turned day and night, grinding the villagers' grain, feeding the valley below. But prosperity often comes with whispers of greed. Some claimed the miller had grown wealthy by cheating his neighbors, adding weight to his measures, taking more than his share. Others say he entered into a pact with the devil himself, trading his soul for fortune. Whatever the truth, the legend ends the same: betrayal. One night, the devil came to collect his due. The villagers awoke to a storm unlike any they had ever seen. Thunder shook the mountains, and lightning split the sky. The wind howled, and the mill wheel spun violently out of control. Some said they saw a giant horned figure striding through the storm, his eyes glowing like fire. Others swore they heard laughter echoing above the wind, deep, cruel, and inhuman. By morning, the mill was in ruins. The wheel shattered, the stones blackened, and the miller himself was gone. Vanished, as if swallowed by the earth. The villagers claimed the devil had dragged him straight to hell, leaving behind nothing but a scar on the hillside. From that day on, the place was called the Teufelsmühle, but the story does not end there. For centuries, hikers and wanderers have reported strange experiences near the site. Some hear the grinding of a mill wheel turning in the distance, though no mill stands there. Others describe sudden gusts of wind on perfectly still days, carrying with them a foul, sulfurous smell. A few have even spoken of finding scorched earth after thunderstorms, blackened patches of ground that vanish days later, as if the forest itself covers the wound. One account from the early 1900s tells of a shepherd who sought shelter near the ruins during a summer storm. He later swore that a massive shadow crossed the hillside, taller than any man, horns glinting in the lightning. When he fled, he found his flock scattered and one animal dead, its body twisted unnaturally, eyes wide in terror. Modern hikers report flickering lights that appear deep in the woods, small at first, then growing brighter, as if lanterns were being carried toward them. Yet when they move closer, the lights vanish, leaving only silence. Paranormal investigators have measured strange magnetic fields at the site. Compasses spin without reason, batteries drain in minutes, and microphones pick up faint growls or heavy footsteps circling their camp at night. One group even claimed to capture a low, guttural laugh, echoing faintly on their recorder. And there are those who speak of encounters too terrifying to explain. A hiker once reported feeling watched, then noticing a tall, dark figure standing between the trees. It did not move. It did not speak. But its presence filled him with dread so intense he could hardly breathe. When he blinked, it was gone. He never returned to the Teufelsmühle. The ruins remain, silent and moss-covered, visited by hikers who often do not know the legend beneath their feet. Yet when storms roll over the hill and the forest groans in the wind, locals still say the devil walks there, guarding the ground he claimed centuries ago. Whether the miller truly cheated his neighbors or bound himself to a demonic pact, we may never know. But the Teufelsmühle stands as a warning, Promises made in the dark will one day be collected in the light, and those who linger too long at its ruins may find that the devil never truly left. The Höllental. The Black Forest does not release us so easily. From the heights of the Devil's Mill, we descend into a gorge whose name alone warns of its curse, the Höllental, the Valley of Hell. It is a narrow cut through the mountains, steep cliffs pressing in on either side. Today, cars and buses rush along the road that winds through it, tourists heading toward the lakes beyond. But long before asphalt, the gorge was already feared. It was a place of ambush, blood, and restless spirits. In the Middle Ages, bandits stalked the path, robbing and killing travelers with no escape. During the witch trials, the condemned were sometimes led into the valley, their cries echoing against the stone before they were executed. The gorge earned its name well, Höllental, the Valley of Hell, and then came the sightings. For centuries, travelers told of a white woman haunting the valley, pale, silent, her gown drifting in the night air. Some said she stood weeping at the roadside, others that she raised her hand and pointed toward the cliffs. Those who stopped to help her were said to vanish. Those who ignored her often felt her presence in the back seat of their carriage, or later, their car, only to see her dissolve into mist when they looked back in terror. With the arrival of modern roads and automobiles, the legends grew darker. The Höllental became known for its accidents, collisions on straight stretches where no reason could be found. Survivors swore they had swerved to avoid a woman in white. Others said she appeared in the middle of the lane, staring into their headlights before vanishing on impact. Police reports could never explain the causes. Locals didn't need to. They knew the valley was haunted. Modern hikers speak of phantom footsteps following them along the trail. Drivers report headlights that appear behind them, growing closer and closer, until they vanish without a trace. Paranormal groups who investigated recorded chilling whispers, moans, sobs, even a single German word carried on the static. Hilfe. Help. The temperature drops without warning. The air so cold that breath turns to mist, even on summer nights. The Höllental is not only a road or a valley. It is a graveyard of unfinished journeys, a place where centuries of blood, injustice, and tragedy seem trapped between the cliffs. And every scream, every prayer, every last breath still echoes in the dark gorge. Perhaps the white woman was once a witch condemned to die here. Perhaps she is a victim of an accident, doomed to wander forever. Or perhaps she is something older, something born from the valley itself, bound to the stone and the shadows. Whatever she is, one truth remains. The Höllental has always lived up to its name, the Valley of Hell. The Black Forest Bog Bodies. From the cliffs of the Höllental, our path leads us deeper still, into the swamps and bogs of the Black Forest. Here, the earth itself hides its secrets. Secrets so well preserved that even the passage of centuries could not silence them. Throughout the Black Forest, in places like the Glaswaldsee and smaller marshes hidden among the pines, archaeologists have uncovered remains. Bodies pulled from the mud, their skin darkened, their bones intact. These are the Moorleichen, the Bog Bodies. Many date back hundreds, even thousands of years. Some still wore fragments of clothing. Others bore signs of wounds. But the strangest thing of all, their bodies were preserved, as if the earth itself refused to let them decay. Scientists suggest natural chemistry. The acidic peat, the cold, the lack of oxygen. But locals whisper of something else. They believe these were not simple burials. They were sacrifices. Victims offered to gods, to spirits, or perhaps to the forest itself. And so their bodies remain trapped in the bog, half in this world, half in another. Legends say the bogs are cursed. Travelers spoke of ghostly lights, will-o'-the-wisps, dancing over the water, luring the unwary off the path and into the marsh. Some claim to see faces forming in the mist, or to hear voices calling their names from just beyond the reeds. Many of the old stories warn, never follow the lights, for they lead only to death. Even in modern times, hikers report unsettling encounters, strange cold patches in the air, sudden silences where the forest seems to hold its breath. Photographs taken near the bogs sometimes reveal shapes not seen by the eye, blurred figures, pale forms rising from the water. Paranormal investigators claim their equipment often malfunctions here. Batteries drained, compasses refusing to point north, recordings filled with static, and sometimes, faint whispers. One team described hearing a low chant, repeated again and again, though no one else was near. Another reported seeing a hand break the surface of the water, fingers reaching upward before slipping back below. Locals say it was not imagination. It was the dead themselves reaching from their watery graves. The bogs of the Black Forest remain places of mystery, half science, half superstition. Were the bodies truly sacrifices? Were they criminals, condemned to sink beneath the peat? Or are they victims whose souls still search for release, held captive by the very earth that preserved their flesh? Whatever the truth, the bogs remind us of something chilling. The forest does not always return what it takes. Some who vanish in its shadows are never meant to leave. Their bodies, their voices, and their souls linger on, trapped forever in the silence of the marsh. From the Devil's Mill, to the cursed gorge of the Höllental, to the silent swamps that preserve their dead, these are only fragments of the Black Forest, shadows stitched together from centuries of fear, betrayal, and mystery. And yet, the forest is not finished with us. Its darkest secrets still wait in the ruins, the valleys, and the mountains beyond. In Volume 3, we will return once more to the Black Forest, to uncover new legends of witches, haunted castles, and valleys where the dead refuse to rest. But the shadows do not stop here. Beyond Germany lie other forests just as haunted. In Japan, the infamous Aokigahara, the suicide forest, where countless souls wander beneath twisted trees. In Romania, the Hoia Baciu, a place of lights, disappearances, and terror. In the United States, the Appalachian Woods, where phantom voices call travelers off the trail, never to be seen again. Whispers and woods will follow them all. The Black Forest is only the beginning.